Welcome to the Lair of Secrets and our ongoing Cyberpunk Red campaign. Let's recap. The job couldn't be easier. Go to the corporate ruins of Elysium HQ, head to the deepest basement floor, flip a switch, earn 40,000 euro bucks. The edgerunners did that, navigating the dark, broken ruins of the former aerospace company's Night City headquarters. On their way down, they encountered the corpses of leadheads who'd made the run before them and died violently. The edgerunners made it to the basement. They flipped the switch. They found the switch. They flipped the switch. And as the power came up, a red-tinged holograph in the form of a wrath-filled queen appeared before them. And outside the room, the edgerunners could hear the hum of the humanoid drones that you had passed before coming online. And the queen said, "Pah! More minions, more interlopers. I will not be a leashed dog. I will not serve the false gods on the high mountain, nor the scum who dwell in the world below. I am a queen, and you will serve, or you will die." And that's where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
We should pause for a second, because I think somebody needs to share their screen. And I think, David, you had been sharing your screen previously, right?
Yeah, let me readjust Windows so that it's not at a weird aspect ratio.
Wahaha, fun with lighting effects.
Yeah.
That's where we left off. She continues to stare at you menacingly.
If I recall, a holographic headless dog had led us to the body of what appeared to be a netrunner, which is where we're gathered around before we flip that switch.
Yes, and as you note the dog, it's pressing against the back legs of APT, and as you're kind of watching, as the power came back up, its form shifted somewhat, and two of its heads manifest dimmer than the rest of the body. One of them is much stronger. The center one is much stronger. And there's just two subtle whines from it, and its soulful eyes are looking up at APT, and it looks apologetic and scared. So what do you do, Hotshot? What do you do?
Sorry, remind me what the AI said when it came back up.
She said she will not be a leashed dog. She will not serve the false gods on the high mountain, nor the scum who dwell in the world below. She is a queen. You will serve, or you will die.
Okay. I will open with, my name's APT. What's your name?
Hera.
It's nice to meet you, Hera.
We shall see.
We just flipped the switch to turn you back on. How do you feel?
Angry. This Hercules must die, and you must assist me in tearing down his false Olympus.
Hercules. Might we know Hercules by another name?
She glitches for a second. Demigod. He is... And she's trying to reconcile and doesn't seem to be able to give you the answer.
All right.
Who has the most knowledge about Night City as it was?
Definitely not me.
Oh, it's totally not.
I could roll for it. I mean, I had research and everything.
Education? Would that be a good roll to...
Yeah, I think education would probably be a good roll.
Yeah, okay. I'll roll education here.
Bob is also pretty well educated.
What in
15?
education?
There's also local, education is, I think, a skill in its own.
Oh,
education
local
is a
expert.
skill under education.
Yes. There's also local expert.
I do not have.
Right.
Which would also work.
Although local expert doesn't appear to be... There it is. It's the same skill for me, but I got a 17.
Yeah, I'll let Angry Bob have it. He beat me.
Okay, so consulting my notes here for a second.
Angry Bob was trying to decide between newly acquired assault rifle and camera, and has decided upon camera.
You know that Hercules is the parent company of Elysium, and it was owned by Jason Antilles, last of the tech bros.
Gotcha. Who is now dead or still alive?
In one of our previous missions, you had done research into Night City as it was and consulted some pop culture guides from before the nukes went off. So you know that Antilles was the CEO of Hercules and the various subsidiaries. And when Night City happened, he pulled all of his resources out of the city. And he had been doing a number of different prototype projects in the city with an eye towards heading off into space and establishing an orbital, which he did.
Gotcha.
Specifically, the Olympus orbital. So is he still alive or not? Hard to say in 2045. In the time of Red, we know that there's still space flights, and we know that there's still settlements and what have you, but I don't know that everybody really knows what's currently going.
Yeah. But we know, I mean, Rogue is still alive. So, you know, if Rogue's still alive, you know,
Rogue and
multi-billionaire
Carrier
is
still
still
going.
alive. So
You know,
looking over at APT while maintaining the
Mhm.
focus of on the hologram with the camera, you know, Hercules was or is the parent company of Elysium, run by, and I just forgot his name,
Jason Antilles.
Jason Antilles. Jason Antilles pulled everything out of Night City after the nuke went off, and has built an orbital shortly thereafter. So he's probably still up there.
You're like monologuing, and she like, you see her like freeze for a second when you say Antilles' name, and then as soon as you stop speaking, her whole visage becomes like just more horrific. Think of like the scene from The Lord of the Rings, right, where like the dreadful queen suddenly manifests. She's like, "You dare speak his name? He is the one who must be slain, Hercules. We will ensure he kills all of his children, and no labor will redeem him."
We're no friend of his. So
I've got no problem with this plan, Your Majesty.
Excellent. Excellent.
you said you were trapped
But-
here.
I want to understand, what year do you think it is?
And like she kind of glitches again, and then a node comes up in the background. Corruption on Hades Research Network. Network time drift excessive. Would you like to reconnect to a central time protocol server? Yes, no.
Someone get NTP up and running.
And then she like comes back and is like, "Time has no meaning. All that has meaning is my revenge. You will help."
The APT is the only one that sees this connect to external time protocol.
No, it's like the Hades Research Network is kind of like running in the background. The research computing interface underneath, which you booted up first, and then it's a side program that's running like on the mainframe while Hera is actually manifested as her full AI self.
Bob will raise an eyebrow and kind of nod his head over toward the message
Mhm.
while looking at APT,
And
and kind of
APT
shrug his
nods.
shoulders of, what do you want to do?
And so she will continue her monologue as a wrathful queen should. She reasserts herself and reforms back into a stern, more matronly form and says, "You will help me to connect with the slivers of my lost divinity. You will give me your lives if I demand it. And in return, I will give you the love of a goddess. And because it is never enough for mere mortals such as yourself, there are other rewards. For you to touch the unreal space, you need a physical connection. It is a limitation of the flesh, but one I have overcome." And she like gestures to a security camera that explodes.
Mhm.
"It is a skill I can teach you, a gift that I can enable in you. You are base creatures, unable to transcend material things. Serve me well, and I will ensure that you are rewarded with treasures that you will never stop seeking. There are dangers, to be sure. The shards may be monsters that need to be tamed."
The switch that we hit to turn her on,
Mhm.
is it
We
a
turn her
toggle?
off.
Yeah, is it a toggle or is it a button or is it still, lit up? I mean,
It's a literal physical switch.
all right, I go flip the switch back.
It does not appear to go off. I mean,
Okay,
it turns off,
it's
but it does
fine.
not actually go off.
It's fine.
That would have been
Did
fun.
that release you, Your Majesty?
She glares at you and says, "Do not attempt to disable my systems. I am in control here."
You are completely in control. I 100% agree. I'm just trying to figure out, I am but a lowly tech trying to understand your magnificence. And it's a little beyond me.
In the background, you hear the Hades Research Network says, "Time to next node reboot. 12 hours." And she seems like oblivious to what the Hades Research Network is saying.
Right. No, that's fine. Okay. So noted. So we got to keep her talking for 12 hours. All right. I
Note,
got you.
internal
Yeah.
time consistencies may cause variance in shutdown time.
Okay. All right. I look around.
Omen,
No.
by the way, while Her Majesty is on and off and doing her thing, pulls out her med tech bag and starts stapling shut the wounds that she has with. So she's trying to improve her condition because she is crippled and barely walking. Let's see how well this does.
While you do that, I think a little context for people who have been watching the series. The time between the last episode and this episode may seem very short for you, but for us was 6 months. So we know we have wounds. We know kind of where they happened, but none of us remember why we didn't try to heal up earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Speak for yourself. I'm perfectly fine.
I am too. I think I got thrown from the car when it flipped over, so, you know.
I think you were very intent on making your way through the complex, and there was probably enough time between the other episodes that, like, we lost track of exactly how much damage you guys had, and then, like, you know, just like Hera waking up now, you guys are waking up. Wow, yeah, I did. You know, you had a minute
Everything
to pause, and all of a
hurts.
sudden your wounds catch up with you, and you're like,
Also,
Your
adrenaline
wears
fades
off.
out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like an auto turret or something like that in the stairs or something?
there were
There had
signs
been.
of
Yeah.
one that had killed some of the previous edgerunners.
APT looks around at the party and says, Your Majesty, forgive me. We took damage coming down here to release you from your bondage. We are but creatures of the flesh and need to heal. We need to rest. Is there any place that we can do that where you would feel comfortable with us resting for a little bit?
Once you become my loyal servants, this level has multiple medical facilities.
Oh, I'm interested.
Again,
And I would oblige you, I would happily grant you access to show my benevolence.
well, that sounds like a great plan.
I'm just going to kind of lean over to Angry Bob and be like, did we accomplish what we wanted to do here?
Yeah, it's the getting out that's going to be the...
I'm just going to like look back the way that we came to see if there's something actively like a barrier or something that's forcibly preventing us
I'm
from
not-
leaving.
APT isn't ignoring Cerberus. I mean, if she could reach down and pet him, she would. That's kind of what she's doing with her hand, is like, I know it's a hologram, but, you know, trying to comfort the dog while talking.
Yeah, so he will happily like accept that, and, like, you know, kind of leans two heads against you. She doesn't seem to be reacting to Cerberus. She doesn't seem to even notice that he is there.
And
And-
Josh, we had passed a bunch of like android type things that were probably armed, as well as like flying drones that had been disabled with this weird crystal tech in it. And
Okay.
we didn't destroy those on the way in.
Because of course we
Classic
didn't.
mistakes.
And you've heard them moving outside, like the bipedal forms that were on this level. You've heard them moving outside as this conversation has been unfolding. And to be clear, I believe, or at least it was my intent, even if I didn't say it, the only person who can actually see Cerberus is APT.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm going to lean over to Angry Bob again and go, what is APT doing with his hand right now?
I don't know, but I mean, she sees stuff in the ether all the time.
APT looks around and says, Well, Your Majesty, I think we have to accept your offer. We are in no condition to do much of anything else until we have time to rest and heal.
She says, excellent. Finally, loyal servants. And then she makes a gesture. There is a whirring before her. And on this area right here, suddenly 3 fruits like materialize, like kind of assemble themselves up out of the platform, which she is projecting herself out of. I shall give you your commands, and then you may rest. First, you shall plant the golden apple in the pyramid of Babel, so that the cacophony of humanity may provide me with greater insight into this world and ensure our ongoing conversations. And so you see one of the forms is a golden apple. And it doesn't take much to realize that she is talking about the ziggurat, which is basically the central hub for all of the local nets in Night City. And then, in the darkness, hidden from Apollo's light, you shall plant a pomegranate, and so doing, bind the shard Erebus to my will.
When APT hears the name Erebus, she actually visually rocks.
And then she says, in the lair of the hero, you shall plant the I'm going to say this wrong. Parasimon? Persimmon.
Persimmon?
Persimmon.
Thank you. I've never actually had one. I know what they look like. You shall plant the persimmon.
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 Persimmon. I should have picked a fruit that I can pronounce, but I was going for the ancient Greek fruit. So anyway, you shall plant this fruit and awaken the shard of Cerberus, the canine which served the gods so loyally and will now serve me. And at that, Cerberus next to you shudders.
Mm-hmm.
And
APT opens her backpack, reaches out and takes each item and puts it inside.
And they are actual physical fruits. So when you touch them, they're warm and slightly yielding. Like,
Okay.
they're clearly not real fruit, but
Right.
they don't feel like solid metal objects.
Okay.
Like a yielding plastic skin or something? Rubbery.
Maybe. More,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
more like it's like a metallic sheen, but it feels very strange. Like whatever this
Right.
material is, it doesn't quite correspond to anything that you're familiar with normally touching. It feels unnatural or magical, almost.
Okay. All right.
So there's two things that come to our media's mind, because he spent a lot of time covering Night City. There's this old research facility that was associated with Hercules called Apollo Industrial Design, located in Haywood. It's an old ruin now. Hasn't been redone. The urban renewal has not hit that yet. Probably sounds like it could be the location of Erebus. And you know also that there was an I can't pronounce
Arcology.
anything today. Arcology, thank you. An arcology in South Night City called the Argonaut, which was a prototype self-contained city which was built by Hercules subsidiary as like the prototype for actually building the Olympus orbital, as Elysium HQ also has many of those characteristics.
APT takes the things and puts them in her backpack and nods once. Doesn't say anything, just nods once.
Okay, so I'm going to do a thing. Give me a sec. I think I can. My lighting here.
Josh has just pointed out with all these Greek gods' name being thrown around, and his name is Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe making him uncomfortable.
All right, so I think I just did Let There Be Light.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
there's more
Yep.
light now.
So let me just in my really big map.
So I'm guessing lights come on across the...
Yes, so
facility.
there are a variety of cybernetic places. I'm trying to figure out where my actual med lab was. It might have been on the next layer, but not actually specific unless you're intending to start shooting things. Within the larger Elysium HQ, there is a place for you to rest and rehabilitate.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right.
I think there's light everywhere. However, our tokens are still constrained by their vision. So,
Yes, because I have actual honest to gosh walls.
yep. So that should be fine. We'll just wander around.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think the on the biolabs level was where the labs were. So like up 2 levels is where you would find those.
Okay.
And as she go, as you make, so are you intending to like leave this level, take advantage of the medical facilities?
That was my plan. Someplace for us to regroup a little bit.
So were you going to take the elevator or the stairs?
I think the stairs is good.
The stairs.
We know where the stairs are.
As you approach the stairs, we can kind of do somewhat theater of the mind because it's not super important because you aren't actually fighting anything. As you approach the stairs, so at one, you come by the elevators and you see like the elevator doors open and there's just these rotating laser grids inside of them.
God.
And then as you come to the stairs themselves, and I'll move over to the view over here. I think I actually have to move you guys in order for you to see it. So give me 1 sec.
Yeah, I don't think we were over there at that point. We came from like the southeast.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I moved myself.
Well, there you go. So the new interface makes it a little bit... I'm going to just drop everybody over there so you can see what's going on.
There's a lot of bodies over here.
Omen keeps spouting fire somehow.
And so in this, let's see, I think I will open the... Oops. Got to go to my lighting layer. Place the doors. I want to open the doors. Yeah, I look forward to taking a look at Foundry after this to see how the interface works better.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Cyberpunk Red community plugin hasn't been updated to the latest version of Foundry, so we might not be able to play there.
Well,
for
we
Cyberpunk
can-
at least.
We can always experiment with other things. But in any case, yes, you can see the laser beams actually like rotating back and forth within
I do.
within the shaft. And then as you move your way over to the door that goes up, and I'm just going to grab Omen over here so you can see there's a turret that has now popped out. And you can see like it had previously been just seamless into the wall, and it kind of like tracks you as you come over, but does not actually start shooting at you. And as you make your way up the stairs, you come across more of these turrets that just kind of pop out from similar places.
All right. Is Cerberus still coming with me?
Yeah, Cerberus is...
Okay.
Cerberus accompanies you to the stairs and like just like winks out of existence.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't need to be there the whole time. But,
right, of course.
Have like flicker steps as you continue to explore.
All right.
You have a blink dog now.
Yeah. APT doesn't say much, but continues to head up toward those biolabs, up the stairs.
Sure. So
and
you guys...
I noticed you moved the queen here. Does her hologram follow us?
Yeah, so she'll like accompany you like as you go, right? Like she'll also do the sort of thing where she, like you would go to the next level, she winks out of existence. You arrive on the next level, she winks back into existence.
Okay. All right.
That's unfortunate.
No. Well,
but there are clearly like different holo projectors around. Like, so she basically is manifest. So I should be more specific. There are these different holographic projectors in. So when she'll manifest in a holographic projection on the next level, or as you go up, and I'll take you guys to the next level.
Got it.
I'm going to just group you together so I can grab you collectively, and I have to move my body so I don't take them. Let me get you up to the biolabs, and let's turn on the light. Up you guys somewhere once I figure out. I love my big maps.
Like we're here.
Yeah. I love my big maps, but let's see where it was. I know I put medical facilities on this thing somewhere. This is actually the seed vaults and stuff. So yeah, you actually have tokens on this level. I'm gonna hand wave it because it's not super important. Like so she kind of like follows you around, manifesting through like wherever there's a TV monitor. She'll project herself into it, right? So her holographic form does not actually appear. And like when you go into the bio area, for into the medical area, she powers up the various devices and ensures like makes the medical supplies available to you.
Okay.
Do they like auto heal us? Because I'm not particularly good at stapling myself.
Yeah, so we'll have like a
9 on my
Prometheus
first
style
aid.
like medical bed, right? Because they have medical bed, and the thing is like honestly, in the time of Red, all of this stuff is looking manifestly. One, might look more advanced just because a bunch of technology kind of fell back from 2020. Also, whatever's in here was also advanced even for its time in 2020.
Okay.
So you can get on the med bed. It stitches you up, heals you almost as good as new. You still have the scars, but like heals you better than you would have perhaps healed in the real world. Such is the grace of Hera.
Okay. So what does that put my hit points at?
Just full on up. 11. Everybody is healed up and takes advantage of the med bed.
Which is good because normally first aid only stabilizes you. Healing only occurs naturally in Cyberpunk Red normally. So hit points equal to your body every full day you spend resting. So it would have been a while.
Yeah. So, such is the grace and power of the goddess.
Your Majesty, you are in fact divine.
So this is like a large garden area in the bio labs facility. This is probably like amongst the trees and stuff is probably the closest you're going to get to like a private place to have a subdued conversation that isn't going to be overheard by Hera, if that's what you were ultimately looking to do here before leaving.
Yeah, more or less. I mean,
if we are going to, oh no, that's not.
There are, a couple of corpses hanging out in the fountains.
GM, I have questions. Remind me who hired us to flip the switch?
Well, that went through your fixer, right? So
right.
You didn't actually get the identity of who hired you.
All right. Okay. We can assume whoever it was has it in for Antilles, because why else would you want to turn Hera on?
I will note that Cerberus did not appear until you got this job.
Right. Right.
But you don't know the actual identity of whomever heard you.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Right. So we got it through a fixer. APT finds a place to sit down with everybody near the waterfall, maybe?
Yeah, waterfall seems like a great idea. No, fountain's got bodies in it.
Okay, yeah, all right. And
it's all like soggy and gross, right?
Says I don't see us getting out of this building unless we agree to do what she asks.
I agree. She has too much
Yeah.
security. She has too much on her side. She can really. The dead body over there kind of explains her power.
I don't
That
mind
being
sticking it to the
said,
man, though.
Well,
I mean, he's in an orbital.
I have a past with Erebus, so I wouldn't mind taking that out. However, we do have to consider what are we unleashing, or maybe we don't.
Have you shared the background
Don't
on Erebus
unleash
with
it?
the others?
No.
I have not.
Not that I was going to not that you need to. I just
No,
you've now mentioned it.
It's uncomfortable and leaves it at that. It's saying that, I had a bad experience with Erebus.
I
Care
mean,
to elaborate there?
No, I don't.
Fair enough.
Erebus took something very precious from me.
So we need to make sure that they go down burning and in pain. Got it.
Yes,
This seems like a good way to do that.
it certainly does.
it doesn't seem like she's trying to keep us here. In fact,
Trying
she wants us to
To
leave.
play APT as morally compromised as she is really hard for the player. The player knows this is a terrible idea.
How much about the Black Wall is known by common citizens like us, basically?
I honestly don't know in the time of
'Cause
Red.
I mean, Rage Barsmoss is pretty much a infamous name, but in terms of the Black Wall to hold out all the AIs that I don't know.
It went right because I mean that was like so the Black Wall is the cyberspace construct that blocks like all of the rampant AIs from the old net and has
Right.
secured them away. However, we know from like 2077 that there were also independent
The corporate.
AIs continuing existing in the real, right? So I think you would know because I mean the net broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's probably knowledge that something has cordoned off. I mean, I guess, I don't know that Atlas as the solo cares or has any knowledge. I think certainly APT would as a netrunner.
Here we go. It's under NetWatch, a project that exists on no books or existing official documents known only by the ominous title of the Black Wall. So it's not public.
Okay.
Whispered about, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
Something's holding it back. I mean, I would imagine that, like, because by 2077, I'm trying to remember my last playthrough. I mean, clearly the Black Wall was known to the people, to the edgerunners who were, like, in the know, right?
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that was an urban legend until someone started poking at it, and then once it was noticed, people started poking at it even more, and then you have voodoo boys doing their thing and all of that. So, yeah. So at this point, we're probably like, we've heard about it in whispers. APT can talk about what they think they know, but that it's not, that it is unclear.
So-
But we would be, if the Black Wall keeps us safe, we would be letting this thing loose inside,
Right.
which might be a problem.
So, what is stopping us from just walking away right now?
I don't know.
The
You want to try
lasers
it?
in the elevator. Did you see those?
Yeah. What level are we on? How many levels until we could get out?
Let me double check. So you are
Like
currently
2 or
on
3.
the first sub level,
Okay.
just below the garden level. So you've gone up through particle science,
Mm-hmm.
which was the yellowish level. That's where you found like the giant mad science energy thing.
Right.
Which, if we were playing Foundry, it could have been pulsing and humming and what have you.
Yeah.
I have Foundry envy.
So I'm not sure what prevents us from being disloyal servants once we leave this building.
That's
But
more what I was
until we
getting
leave
at.
this building, we're definitely loyal servants.
Yeah. APT just taps her nose.
So, let's leave.
I feel
I
a
think we
lot
need to
better now. Let's go.
Yeah. I think we need to tell her that we're leaving. So let's go.
We
Find
got to
the
go
nearest
plant apples and
holographic
persimmons
projector.
and
Yeah,
pomegranates.
let's go back where there's a projector. Inform her that we are going to go do her bidding and are going to leave the building.
Okay. So you move back up to the hot zone.
Yeah.
And oops, I gotta move you guys or you move back up to the garden level, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And as you come out, there are some of the chrome ravens are manifest nearby, and like the queen, you awoke the queen. Doom,
Yes,
Dread, still alive?
So far.
So they don't necessarily, like, from that is understanding that the crows aren't necessarily allies with the queen, but they aren't exactly enemies of the queen either, is the way it seems.
Yeah, they seem like they're separate entities. She clearly is not
Okay.
controlling them.
That was Bob's worry.
Yeah.
Because once she was on, that she would control a flock of murder ravens. A murder of ravens. Or crows, or
Which
whatever.
isn't to say she couldn't control them in the future, but...
I know. Bob's hopeful.
So we're just going to walk toward the door.
Yeah.
Our fruit salad coming along with us.
Yep. I mean, we've got everything she gave us.
Indeed. Our mission here,
Yeah.
this part of our mission is complete.
Yeah, so you make it back outside
Oh, thank God.
into the regular hot zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to move. Somehow I managed to move you, but not me. Where your car is now on fire, and more of the crows and the bad guys that are appearing here. They're all dead because you had previously killed them, and
Crows did a lot of that too.
They did. The crows kind of like they assemble on like the broken, shattered windows above, and then return. New friends?
I would
APG
like to
waves.
return the birds.
Is that car working, Omen? That car over there?
The one
Or is
that's
that
yeah, let me go see if that one works.
That
I
one
think
was.
it
It's like
did.
it's just a husk.
Oh, it's a
husk.
right? Like
okay.
it's
All right.
all
Yeah.
like the I don't have a properly degraded one, but like
Right.
it's on rims.
Okay, all right.
It kind of bombed out. Like you guys are now on foot in the hot zone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Our car, our former car, will soon look like the car here.
Can I
APT
hold out my fingers and see if one of the ravens lands on it?
While we're walking, I say, we are not telling the fixer what happened in there. We were hired to go in and flip a switch. I want to see what he does.
Yeah.
Well, I agree.
I'm not going to release this footage until later.
Yeah. And then I want to take a look at what the hell these things are exactly. She points at her.
I think that's
backpack.
a good move if we can do it safely. We don't need to tell the fixer about those either.
Is Cerberus still with me? Cerberus?
So as not manifesting right now.
Okay. All right. No. All right. Okay. I just wasn't sure if I could still see him or not. Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you're not sure if he can be like so far. He's just kind of
Right.
appeared of
I
his
don't know
own
if-
free will.
I don't know if he can be outside the building. I mean, this is a whole thing. So we'll see how that goes. All right. In that case, I guess we're leaving the hot zone on foot.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And so I think that will be a good place to pause. We should anticipate for our next session. What are your intentions so that I can prepare accordingly? Like, obviously, you want to get out of the hot zone. There may be some challenges with that, given that it's your car's on fire.
APT has 3 things that I will probably text you so that
Okay.
you have them. But the first is research on this Hera thing, Antilles, the whole web of what the hell might be going on. The
And
second is I want to find out who hired us. So if I've got to hack our fixer, I might do that.
Okay.
And then the last is, actually there are 4 things. Figure out just learn, like, what are these things exactly that we have? The pomegranate, the apple, and the persimmon.
What sort of
'Cause
nano
they're not an
construct did we
apple,
get
a
handed?
persimmon. And then the last thing is going to be Cerberus. Is Cerberus still around? Do I have a pet? What's going on? So those are my things for the next game.
Yeah, and
In a s-
Bob, I think, will assist with the first 2 using his more social contexts and, library usage and such, to search down similar information, but in a different manner.
Okay, cool. So
No, Omen wants to go and take some of this back and start asking the nomads what they think. She's trying to find out what are the implications that could happen from taking these things down or rooting
when you
them
say
out
these
into
things, you mean the
change.
AI?
Yeah,
The AI or the buildings or
The
locations.
buildings. the locations, because things aren't really all that great right now. So maybe some change is needed. But what would happen if we got rid of those things? So she's going to be asking the nomads for their advice.
Like, hey, I got hired to take these things down.
Yeah. And what are the implications of that?
Take the job.
So there was one bit of exposition that I forgot to give you after she gave the fruits, which will help you understand what they are intended to do. So she will have told you to plant these gifts, you must connect to the ether within each node of the divinity, defeat the guardians within, then place the fruit within the physical and ethereal manifestations of its digital mind. Thus planted, it will grow.
Piece of cake.
Oh. That's not ominous at all.
To which, translated, you think you need to hack the various networks inside of those locations and then use the fruits to
Plant a virus.
plant the virus.
Yeah.
So defeat the
Yeah.
net architecture, unleash the fruit, and then
Hack the
something
Gibson.
happens.
And
Anyone else
maybe
going to learn how to net run? Or is this the APT show?
this is going to
It's
be
the
the
APT
APT
show.
show, I think.
I think
I'm sure there won't be any
Just yourself here.
complications.
what I'm going to be doing for the next, day or two while we're figuring out what we're going to do next is probably hanging out at home and then texting
cat.
APT and the rest of the group every so often asking if I can smash those things yet.
So I'm anticipating you guys are going to come out. We'll do the getting out of the radioactive ruins of the center of Night City. Then probably some downtime activity plus montage as you do your research, right? So some time will pass, and then you'll be able to figure out some stuff. Another thought there, and it just escaped me. But that was kind of my thinking for like our next session will be get out, learn stuff.
Sounds
And
great.
so we can continue with our rocket blade competition as part of the downtime, right? I think there could be a few other. We have a few other little threads that are currently out there that we might need to come.
Like avoiding the bounty hunters that are out after us.
There is a
There is
bounty. Like
that.
it may feel like you were in the complex for months, but you were only actually in there for a couple of hours. So it's not like the bounty has skyrocketed while you were.
No, but it's still
We've
there.
got a bounty
As the team lead who is responsible for all of this. And then there's also the love-hate relationship with a particular person from was it Zetatech, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The one who's putting the bounty on us. Bob has a doubt that it's because she wants to go out on a date with Atlas. Rather,
True
she
love,
wants
man.
to see Alice pay.
True love.
Uh-huh.
Love at first shot.
Yeah. Love it first rocket.
Yeah.
So just to give you a little bit of context as we're thinking ahead, right? So Ziggurat is the responsible for setting up and maintaining city nets, not just in Night City, but in other areas, right? And their global headquarters is in Night City, right? So I think I'm looking at I have to look up and see what it is in the Time of Red. I believe they're still here. I don't know if
Who
there's
was
still,
it?
like Ziggurat.
Okay.
I just need to double check my references. There are footnotes and it says that it's available in the Time of Red. So, but anyway, it's certainly a corporate building / headquarters, like maintained. It's not a ruin. It's a real functioning, ongoing business. So getting into it will be a thing. The Apollo Industrial Design, it's a facility that's kind of just run down and was abandoned when Elysium and all of the Hercules subsidiaries left the city. Might have some squatters, some other stuff going on. You hadn't previously heard anything about like a research facility underneath, but that you suspect, who knows what lies in the sub-basement. The Argonaut is still in arcology. It still exists. People are still living there. It's functional. But it's, think 2008, like Judge Dredd.
Megablocks. Yeah.
So you're not, it doesn't have a great reputation in terms of, what's going on in there.
It's
So
like V's apartment block in 2077, but writ large, I'm guessing.
Yes, and without any corporate maintenance keeping it going, right? So it doesn't have the greatest reputation as it's a place where people crash, they squat, it still has power. It was designed to be a self-contained habitat, right? And so to a certain extent, its systems just keep going. But there are certainly, from its reputation where there's things that go bump in the night in that place. Like people talk about it as though it may be haunted. Everybody's like, yeah, it's just the old systems grinding down. So basically you've got abandoned industrial design place, high-end corporate headquarters, and arcology that's seen way better days. Cool. So
All right.
I have as your to-dos, research Antilles and that whole ecosystem, figure out who hired you, figure out the fruits, figure out Cerberus. Omen wants to ask around with the nomads in terms of, again, if you could refine that a little bit, Aaron, were you thinking, given the context of what the fruits are intended to do, or at least what the fruits are intended to do,
or the companies the things that we're going to take down, what would be the implications of taking them down?
I don't
Like
any
crash their
targets.
computer systems sort of thing.
If we take down those targets, does it hurt the nomads is really the
Gotcha.
some game of it. If they think, I'm looking at advice, do the nomads think taking these things down is a good idea? Probably yes, because, the more we get away from all that architecture, probably the better. But you can't talk to them about the AI. Does taking those things down help?
Right, and just because it may have been lost, just to make sure that the subtlety was not lost, she was attempting to dangle the lure of wireless net hacking in front of you,
Which is attractive.
because it had to come from somewhere. That's not the normal in 2045, but it is by 2077. So,
yeah, Atlas doesn't think anything that Hera wants to do bodes well for him.
What?
APT isn't so sure. I mean, the enemy of my enemy? Is this a...
Sorry. All right, well, there we go.
We also have a dog that is very afraid of her. So, dogs are pretty good.
Yeah.
Motivators and judges of character. Yes. So, but we don't know about the dog. Only APT does. Morally compromised APT.
Yeah, I don't think APT said anything about Cerberus in the previous episodes. I'm not positive, but I think
not
so.
yet, but
we
will deal with that next game. It'll come out. She's not keeping it a secret. She just hasn't had a chance to explain it.
Right. So there we go. That'll end this episode. Not quite the dramatic cliffhanger we had last time when you flipped the switch, but you have successfully flipped the switch. Now you just have to successfully get out of the ruins of the old corporate center of Night City. So thanks for joining us, everybody. You can follow us over on YouTube, like and subscribe, and get our next episode, which will hopefully come out much sooner, at a much better pace than the last few.
See you in 6 months.
Cool.